The 2024-25 Premier League season will see 20 teams compete for the title, with newly promoted clubs Leicester City, Ipswich Town and Southampton replacing Luton Town, Burnley and Sheffield United. The league will once again feature 7 teams from London, and this season will see just 5 teams from the north of England, the lowest number in the Premier League era. Last year's champions Manchester City will look to recreate the success that has seen them win 6 of the last 7 titles. Let's take a look at each team's stadium and the characteristics that make them unique. Join us for every stadium of the 2024-2025 Premier League. Arsenal's home since 2006, the Emirates Stadium in Holloway, London, is a 60,704 capacity venue which replaced the Gunners' former home of Highbury, in what was described as one of the biggest decisions in their history. With plans to expand Highbury in the 90s failing due to planning issues and a bid for the club to buy Wembley Stadium being rejected, it seemed the only way for the club to expand seating capacities would be the construction of a new stadium. Funding for the stadium was secured in 2004, and Emirates purchased the naming rights in a 15-year deal estimated at £100 million. Construction began the same year, and in 2006 the stadium was finally opened, with the total cost for the project reaching £390 million. The Emirates Stadium is an impressive 4-tiered bowl, with a unique roof structure providing unobstructed views from every seat. The quality of Arsenal's pitch and groundsmanship has received praise from players and fans, sometimes referred to as the carpet. In 2011, the club erected statues of former captain Tony Adams, record goalscorer Thierry Henry, and manager Herbert Chapman outside of the stadium. New artwork on the exterior of the stadium was revealed in 2023, and future improvements include a new PA system and improving mobile connectivity for fans. Villa Park is a football stadium in Aston, Birmingham, with a seating capacity of 42,640. It has been home to Aston Villa Football Club since it opened in 1897, and in its storied history has hosted 55 FA Cup semi-finals, more than any other stadium. The historic stadium has gone through various stages of renovation and development. In the early 1900s, the ground received several upgrades and stands designed by renowned architect Archibald Leach, with his design for the old Trinity Road stand considered one of the grandest in Britain, complete with stained glass windows, Italian mosaics and a sweeping staircase. The stand stood from 1922 to 2000 and was considered Leach's masterpiece, described as the St Pancras of football. Modernisation efforts have seen much of the old ground replaced, resulting in the current configuration of the Trinity Road stand, North Stand, Doug Ellis Stand, and the Holt End, where Villa's most vocal and passionate supporters can be found. In 2009, a bronze statue of former Villa chairman and Football League founder William McGregor was unveiled outside the stadium. The smallest ground in the top 2 tiers of English football, with a capacity of 11,307, the Vitality Stadium, previously known as Dean Court, is a football stadium in Bournemouth, Dorset, and the home ground of AFC Bournemouth. The ground was opened in 1910. However, the original ground was completely rebuilt in 2001, with the pitch rotated 90 degrees from its original position and the ground moved away from adjacent housing. The new ground was built as a 3-sided stadium with a capacity of 9,600, with the Ted McDougall stand added in 2011. In 2004, Bournemouth's James Hayter scored the Football League's fastest ever hat-trick at Dean Court, scoring 3 goals in 2 minutes and 20 seconds during a 6-0 victory over Wrexham. Due to the club's rise to the Premier League, expansion has been top of the agenda for Bournemouth. In July 2017, the club confirmed it was looking to build a new stadium near the current site in Kings Park. The newest Premier League stadium having been built in 2020, Brentford FC's G-Tech Community Stadium, originally known as the Brentford Community Stadium, is located in Brentford, West London. The club moved from their old home since 1904, Griffin Park, known for being the only English League football ground to have a pub on each corner. The G-Tech is a 17,250 capacity stadium with state-of-the-art facilities and an ideal location for the club, situated adjacent to Kew Bridge Railway Station. The cost of the project was around £71 million. The stadium is at the heart of plans to regenerate the surrounding area, including new homes and commercial opportunities. It was used during the UEFA Women's Euro 2022, which was held in England. The unique seat coloration inside the stadium was designed not to be club-specific, but was modelled to produce the illusion of a stadium at full capacity for the benefit of broadcasted matches. The stadium was also home to rugby union side London Irish. However, with the team suspended from the league ahead of the 2023-24 Premiership rugby season and entering administration, their future remains uncertain. Falmer Stadium, known for sponsorship purposes as the American Express Stadium and more commonly referred to as the Amex, is home to Brighton and Hove Albion and is located in Brighton and Hove, East Sussex. Brighton's long-time home from 1902 to 1997 was the Goldstone Ground, which was sold by the club's former board to developers in 1995 with no new home arranged. The club was evicted in 1997 and for 2 seasons moved to Gillingham's Priestfield Stadium, 74 miles away. 2 years later, the club returned to Brighton as tenants of Withdean Stadium, with the hope that a new stadium would be ready by the early 2000s. However, it took until 2011 for Falmer Stadium to be ready for the club to play at. The stadium cost approximately £93 million to build, and today houses 31,876 fans. Brighton's fortunes have soared since the stadium was built, and the arena hosted Premier League football for the first time in August 2017, following Albion's promotion at the end of the 2016-17 season. The stadium has gone on to host European football for the first time in 2023 when Brighton played against AEK in the Europa League. Stamford Bridge is located in Fulham, adjacent to the borough of Chelsea in West London. It is the home of Chelsea Football Club and has a capacity of 40,343. Opened in 1877, the London Athletic Club used the stadium until 1905, when new owner Gus Mears founded Chelsea Football Club to occupy the ground, at the time recently redesigned by Archibald Leach, and Chelsea have played their home games there ever since. The ground underwent major renovations in the 1990s, when following the removal of the old running track, the stands were able to be rebuilt closer to the pitch, taking advantage of the fact the old stadium was oval-shaped and filling in the corners so that the pitch is enclosed. Today, the ground contains 4 covered all-seater stands, officially known as the Matthew Harding Stand, the East Stand, the Shed End, and the West Stand, which is the newest addition built in 2001. A statue of popular 1960s Chelsea forward Peter Osgood, created by Philip Jackson, is positioned outside the West Stand. Expansion of the stadium has long been a challenge due to its London location, with numerous plans including rebuilding the stadium on the same site, or even moving to a stadium to be built in the old Battersea Power Station. With Chelsea's recent takeover, the latest plan is to use land the club has bought next to the stadium to help rebuild or redevelop. In the south of London, Crystal Palace play their home games at Selhurst Park in Selhurst, Croydon. Designed by Archibald Leach and initially built in 1924 with just 1 stand and terracing around the rest of the ground, the stadium has grown over the years with the additions of the Holmesdale Road Stand, the Arthur Waite Stand and the White Horse Lane Stand, and now holds a capacity of 25,486. The stadium has great character due to its construction happening over a longer period than seen with many on this list, and is a true reflection of a classic British stadium. Selhurst Park has previously been shared with other clubs. Charlton Athletic played there from 1985 to 1991, and Wimbledon used the ground from 1991 until 2003. Redevelopment of Selhurst Park has long been discussed, and the first steps of construction for a new main stand at the ground have recently begun. The main stand redevelopment project will overhaul Selhurst Park, increasing capacity to more than 34,000 while providing new year-round community facilities. The 2024-2025 season will be Everton's last at the ground, which has been their home since 1892, Goodison Park. Located 2 miles from Liverpool city centre and just the other side of Stanley Park from Anfield, which was previously home to Everton and is now the home of Liverpool FC, Goodison Park has hosted more top-flight games than any other stadium in England. The ground has also been the venue for an FA Cup final and numerous international fixtures, including a semi-final match in the 1966 World Cup. The ground is an impressive sight, holding 39,572 fans with 4 large stands: Goodison Road Stand, the Gwladys Street End, the Bullens Road Stand, and the Park End Stand. Goodison Park is unique in having a church, St Luke's, situated on its grounds, positioned between the Goodison Road Stand and the Gwladys Street Stand, mere yards from the corner flag. The church has played a significant role in the lives of the club's community, with former Everton players, such as Brian Harris, having their funeral services held there. Outside the ground, a statue of club legend Dixie Dean, holder of the record for the most goals in a season in the top flight of English football, can be seen. Dean died of a heart attack at Goodison Park in 1980. Following this season, Everton will move to Everton Stadium, which is currently under construction on Bramley Moor Dock in Vauxhall, Liverpool. At an estimated cost of around £750 million, this is a major move for the club, who will surely be sad to leave the ground that has shared so much of their history. Craven Cottage is a football stadium in Fulham, West London, which has been the home of Fulham Football Club since 1896 and today houses a capacity of 25,700. Situated on the banks of the Thames, the ground takes its name from a cottage that stood from 1780 to 1888, where the current centre circle is now located. Fulham moved to the ground in 1896. Having previously played at numerous locations, and Craven Cottage was redesigned in 1905 by Archibald Leach to create some of his most iconic work. The red brick facade of the Grade II listed Stevenage Road Stand, now called the Johnny Haynes Stand, and the pavilion now known as the Cottage. The recently built Riverside Stand is the most notable modern addition to the ground, with the Eric Miller Stand being ripped down and a full rebuild undertaken. The stand is due to be fully open by the end of 2024, complete with premium hospitality lounges and a rooftop pool. In 2011, Fulham unveiled a statue of Michael Jackson inside the stadium. The singer, who died in 2009, was not a Fulham fan and had no interest in football whatsoever, but attended a Fulham match once. The statue now lives in the National Football Museum. A statue that still stands at the ground is that of Johnny Haynes, Fulham's greatest ever player, outside the stand named after him. Portman Road is located in Ipswich, Suffolk, and has been home to Ipswich Town since 1884. The ground has a capacity of 29,673, and the pitch is surrounded by 4 multi-tiered stands: the Sir Bobby Robson Stand, the Cobbled Stand, the Sir Alf Ramsey Stand, and the West Stand. The club are making some relatively minor changes to Portman Road in preparation for their return to the Premier League. However, Chief Executive Mark Ashton has said that there is a plan in place to grow Portman Road and to also create world-class facilities at Ipswich Town's training ground. There are statues of 2 legendary former managers outside the stadium: Sir Alf Ramsey, who managed the club from 1955 to 1963 and also led England to World Cup victory in 1966, and Sir Bobby Robson, who managed Ipswich Town from 1969 to 1982. There is also a statue of Ipswich Town legend Kevin Beattie, considered by many to be the club's best ever player. Leicester City moved to their new home, the King Power Stadium, in August 2002, only a stone's throw away from their old Filbert Street ground. It was not an easy start at their new stadium, as the club had just been relegated from the Premier League and were more than $30 million in debt. However, Leicester's fortunes turned with a return to the Premier League after 10 years in 2014, and in 2016 secured a miraculous Premier League title, the club's first in their history. Whilst the 32,312 capacity stadium doesn't have the visual character of more historic stadiums, the ground does boast great acoustics, creating an impressive matchday atmosphere. In an unprecedented tragedy for the club, In 2018, a helicopter carrying club chairman Vichai C. Watanaprabha and 4 others crashed in a car park outside the stadium. The crash happened shortly after the helicopter took off from the pitch and there were no survivors. 1 year later, a memorial garden officially opened before a statue of the former owner was unveiled in 2022. Anfield is one of the most iconic stadiums in English football, famed for its atmosphere, with the Kop considered one of the loudest stands in Europe. It has been the home of Liverpool FC since their formation in 1892, although was originally the home of Everton from 1884 to 1891, before they moved to the nearby Goodison Park. The 60,725 capacity ground consists of the Kop, the main stand, the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand, and the recently redeveloped Anfield Road end. The main stand was also significantly expanded in 2016 to make it one of the largest all-seater stands in European football. Famously, "You'll Never Walk Alone" is the club's anthem and is sung by the fans before every home game. Several statues and memorials surround the ground, which include gates dedicated to legendary managers Bill Shankly and Bob Paisley, who also have statues erected of them, and a bust of the club's founder, John Holding. A memorial to the 97 fans who lost their lives in the Hillsborough disaster is prominently positioned outside the main stand and contains an eternal flame signifying that those who died will never be forgotten. Inside the stadium, the "This is Anfield" sign, installed by former manager Bill Shankly in 1972 to instill fear into the opposition, is located above the tunnel entrance to the pitch. The City of Manchester Stadium, now known as the Etihad for sponsorship reasons, is the home of Manchester City Football Club. The stadium was originally constructed for the 2002 Commonwealth Games, after which it was converted into a football stadium to serve as a modern replacement for City's former home at Main Road. The club moved into the stadium at the beginning of the 2003-04 season, with Manchester City's takeover in 2008 making them one of the wealthiest clubs in world football. The club has invested heavily in improving and developing the Etihad Stadium and its surrounding facilities. Significant upgrades include the expansion of the South Stand in 2015, and further plans are underway to expand the North Stand. Currently, the capacity of the Etihad stands at 55,000. Statues of David Silva, Vincent Kompany, and Sergio Aguero can be found outside the ground, all of whom played a crucial role in securing City the Premier League title in 2011-12, the club's first league win since 1968. During their initial years at the Etihad Stadium, Manchester City struggled to replicate the atmosphere of their former home, Main Road. Despite improvements, rival fans often refer to the stadium as Emptyhad, mocking the perceived lack of attendance and atmosphere. Situated in Old Trafford, Greater Manchester, Old Trafford serves as the storied home of Manchester United. Nicknamed the Theatre of Dreams by Sir Bobby Charlton, the ground now holds a remarkable capacity of 74,310 seats, making it the largest club football stadium in the UK and ranking it second overall, only surpassed by Wembley Stadium. Additionally, it is the 12th largest football stadium in Europe. This iconic venue is located just 800 metres from the Old Trafford Cricket Ground, making the area a central hub for sports enthusiasts in the region. United, originally known as Newton Heath, have played at Old Trafford since 1910, with club chairman John Henry Davies funding £90,000 for the new stadium designed by Archibald Leach. The initial Old Trafford featured open-air embankments on 3 sides and a covered main stand on the south side. Old Trafford was heavily damaged by German air raids during World War II, causing Manchester United to play at City's Main Road for 8 years. The stadium was rebuilt and reopened in 1949. Subsequent decades saw ongoing improvements and development, most recently in 2006, and today the stadium consists of the Sir Alex Ferguson Stand, the East Stand, the Sir Bobby Charlton Stand, and the Stretford End. Old Trafford has hosted an FA Cup final, 2 final replays, and numerous semi-finals. It has also been a venue for England matches, the 1966 FIFA World Cup, UEFA Euro 1996, the 2012 Summer Olympics, UEFA Women's Euro 2022, and the 2003 Champions League final. Around the ground, a number of statues and memorials can be found. The United Trinity statue outside the East Stand honours George Best, Dennis Law and Sir Bobby Charlton. Statues of former managers Sir Alex Ferguson and Sir Matt Busby are also situated outside the stands. The Munich Memorial Clock and Plaque pay tribute to the 1958 Munich air disaster, with the clock set at 3:04 p.m, the crash's time, and the plaque listing the victims' names. St James's Park, home to Newcastle United Football Club, is a stadium renowned for its vibrant atmosphere and distinctive appearance, dominating the skyline with a unique shape with one side much larger than the other, resulting from local constraints after plans for a new nearby ground faced strong opposition. Planning conflicts long plagued St James's Park, with 1920s stand plans by Archibald Leach getting abandoned and continued issues preventing the ground from hosting 1966 World Cup games. The stadium officially opened in 1892 when Newcastle United moved to the site that had already been used for football for several years, and the ground now hosts an impressive 52,350 spectators. The modern ground layout is made up of the Milburn Stand and Leazes End, which are double-tiered, and the East Stand and Gallowgate End, which are single-tiered. Away supporters are housed in the top tier on the very far side of the Leazes End. It is one of England's most famous away ends due to the 14 flights of stairs that fans are required to climb to get to their seats. St James's Park features several statues honouring Newcastle United legends. In the southeast corner, club legend Jackie Milburn is depicted in a striking pose. In the southwest corner, statues of Sir Bobby Robson and Alan Shearer capture the revered manager and the all-time leading goal scorer with his iconic celebration. Joe Harvey's memorial on the Gallowgate wall commemorates the former captain and manager. The future of St James's Park looks promising following Newcastle United's recent takeover, with potential expansion plans to increase capacity and ongoing modernisation efforts to enhance the fan experience while preserving its historic significance. Nottingham Forest's City Ground is located on the banks of the River Trent in West Bridgford, Nottinghamshire. Nottingham Forest are one of the oldest league football clubs in the world, having been founded in 1865. However, they didn't move to the City Ground, their seventh home, until it was built 33 years later in 1898. The City Ground replaced the Old Town Ground just a few hundred yards away at the opposite end of Trent Bridge. Nottingham was granted city status in 1897, and the name City Ground commemorates this, as the land where it stands was within the city boundary at that time. The City Ground is just 270 metres away from Meadow Lane, home of Notts County, making them England's closest professional football stadiums. Initially modest with wooden stands, the City Ground saw gradual upgrades, including the East Stand in 1957 helping set the ground's record attendance. Fires in 1962 and 1968 led to rebuilds, and the Brian Clough Stand was added in 1980. Further improvements in the 1990s included new all-seater stands, and the ground hosted matches during Euro '96. Today, with a capacity of 30,404, the City Ground includes the Bridgford Stand, the modern Trent End, the Brian Clough Stand, and the older Peter Taylor Main Stand, built in the late 60s, which contrasts with its newer neighbours. In 2019, Nottingham Forest extended their lease at the City Ground to proceed with a redevelopment plan, including a new 10,000-seat Peter Taylor stand and upgrades to other stands. Delayed by COVID-19, the project received planning approval in July 2022. Rent disputes with the City Council in 2024 have raised uncertainty, potentially affecting the project's future or prompting relocation talks. In the late 1990s, Southampton Football Club faced the decision to relocate from their historic home of over 100 years, the Dell, prompting the search for a new, more modern stadium. The ideal location emerged in the heart of Southampton, near to the club's birthplace of St Mary's Church. Named in homage to this historical connection, St Mary's Stadium was constructed between 1999 and 2001 at a cost of approximately £32 million. The stadium features single-tiered stands that encompass the pitch, offering seating for up to 32,384 fans. The stadium features large screens positioned on the roofs at each end and a distinctive transparent perspex strip below the roofline, enhancing natural light and aiding pitch conditions. Outside the Itchen stand stands a statue honouring former Southampton player, manager, director and president Ted Bates. The other stands include the Kingsland, Chapel and Northam, which complete the enclosed design, providing ample seating and maintaining the stadium's intimate atmosphere. During the stadium's construction, local legend suggests that Portsmouth FC supporters buried their team's shirt under the Northam stand end of the pitch, purportedly causing a curse that led to Southampton's initial losing streak at the new venue. Eventually, efforts were made to lift the curse, coinciding with Southampton's subsequent first win at the stadium. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club's transition from White Hart Lane to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium reflects a century-long evolution in stadium design and infrastructure. Established in the late 1800s beside High Road, the original White Hart Lane was Tottenham's home for well over 100 years, with its peak capacity exceeding 70,000. However, regulatory reforms in the 1990s necessitated capacity reductions for the compact site. In pursuit of a larger, more modern venue, Tottenham secured land adjacent to White Hart Lane, with initial plans unveiled in 2007, setting the stage for a transformative stadium complex. By 2015, Tottenham had finalised plans with architectural firm Populous to construct a cutting-edge 60,000 capacity stadium capable of hosting NFL games and other major events. Despite initial delays, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium opened in April 2019, accommodating 62,850 fans and setting new standards for football stadiums in the UK. To maintain peak pitch quality, the stadium features separate retractable pitches for football and NFL games, concerts and events. Unlike other stadiums, Tottenham's pitch innovatively splits into 3 sections to retract, a first globally. A 4.5-metre tall fiberglass replica of the Spurs cockerel was installed on Tottenham Hotspur Stadium's south stand roof. This faithful reproduction, originally from 1909 and featuring dents from Paul Gascoigne's air rifle, honours the club's heritage. Plans also include a statue of Bill Nicholson and the historic gate from White Hart Lane's West Stand entrance. In 2016, West Ham United became the primary tenant of London Stadium, controversially moving from their former home since 1904 at Upton Park. The stadium, designed by Populous, was constructed specifically for the 2012 Summer Olympics and Paralympics. It served as the primary athletics venue and hosted the opening and closing ceremonies for both events. In 2013, West Ham was awarded a 99-year lease after a contentious bidding process involving Tottenham Hotspur and Leyton Orient. Initially constructed with an 80,000-seat capacity for the Olympics, the stadium was later reconfigured to now seat a capacity of 62,500 for football and other events. It has a retractable seating system to facilitate different configurations for various sports and concerts. The London Stadium boasts excellent build quality, but has faced criticism for its suitability for football. As the original design was for athletics, its daytime appearance and atmosphere due to the distance of fans from the pitch is underwhelming, though it is enhanced at night by Europe's largest digital screens. West Ham initially faced significant crowd troubles at the London Stadium. Issues included fights, ticketing problems and arrests during several games. Severe clashes occurred during an EFL Cup match against Chelsea, resulting in arrests and a temporary alcohol ban. Protests against the club's owner in March 2018 led to lifetime bans for several fans. These incidents prompted criticism, fines and increased security measures. Molineux Stadium in Wolverhampton, West Midlands, has been the home of Wolverhampton Wanderers since 1889. The site began as Molineux House, built by the Molineux family in 1744. It later became the Molineux Hotel, then the Molineux Grounds in 1860. In 1889, a local brewery leased the land to Wolverhampton Wanderers, creating their permanent stadium. Molineux was the first stadium built for use by a Football League club, one of the first British grounds to install floodlights, and hosted early European club games in the 1950s. The modern stadium hosts 31,750 fans and features the Stan Cullis stand. Opened in 1992, towering impressively with its 2 tiers and distinctive roof structure, the Billy Wright stand, the Steve Bull stand, named in honour of the club's record goal scorer, and the Sir Jack Hayward stand. Outside Molineux Stadium, there are 3 statues honouring notable club figures. The statue of Billy Wright stands outside the main entrance to the club offices, and outside the club museum, former player and manager Stan Cullis is depicted. Additionally, a statue of former club owner Sir Jack Hayward was unveiled in 2018. Plans are in place to increase Molineux's capacity to 50,000 seats. This involves replacing the Steve Bull stand to accommodate 36,000 initially, followed by a new single-tiered stand to reach 46,000. Currently, delays influenced by COVID-19 and a shift in club focus to team investment have stalled construction. That was every stadium of the 2024-2025 Premier League. Thank you for watching. If you've watched to the end, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our future videos.